El Jefe Supremo.
Where is El Jefe Supremo? I was not going to make a video today, but you guys have to see this. Last summer, you met my friend Dan Thal, the founder, owner of Hood River Organic. He runs a cooperative CSA, and I'll put videos that I did with Dan here, wherever that little thing is. But Dan has started the most incredible business. He started growing mushrooms. At one point, and I don't know if it's still true, I'll find out, he was the only organic cremini and portobello mushroom grower on this half of the country. And he has these big mushroom barns out here, and I came out to get mushroom compost from him for the garden. But I want to show you, if you'll allow us in, I want to show you the inside of his mushroom growing operation because it is really, really impressive.
What are you filming for?
I make YouTube videos. So I should ask Dan first to make sure this isn't proprietary information. Dan, again.
Hey, Fresh Pea.
Hey. So what do you have here?
I've got my mushroom farm here. This is one grow room I was just showing Glenn. So we grow them in cherry bins, plastic cherry bins. Most mushroom farms, even conventional ones, really only have 2 or maximum 3 flushes per room. But because of our cleanliness and our practices, we're able to get 4 and sometimes 5 flushes out of a room, which is nice.
And you have to sterilize your feet when you go in, right?
Right, yeah.
And not let riffraff like us and flip-flops in?
Correct, absolutely. So actually, people don't even know that portobellos and creminis are the same mushroom. We don't necessarily determine what will be a portobello and what will be a cremini. It's a ratio. When you're looking at the stem to the cap ratio, if it's sort of a 1-to-1, it's got potential to go on track. So you thin it just like you would thin an apple or a pear tree to get size. You thin around it. It lasts a little longer, of course, so a cremini is picked and sold as a cremini. But it's a dual process of thinning for a portobello, which has that ratio of cap to stem that has the potential to go the distance for the 7 to 10 days more before it becomes a portobello.
How many days till they spore out?
Well, a portobello is its sexual maturation, and it's
Okay.
actually organically, it's more, we quarantine, I wouldn't have this room more. Portobellos, because they are, once the gills open, even creminis will spore. That the product that you're creating for the grocery store and for the consumer is a sealed cap. That's what a cremini is.
Yeah.
Chefs and cooks and regular people and grocery stores don't like an open cap for several reasons. It's going through its sexual maturity, and it loses freshness quicker too. When you have a sealed cap for what a cremini is, it hasn't gone through that sexual maturity, and it stays fresher. All of its moisture is retained with that.
And they're more
seal.
durable too in the store.
Right. But then there's a switch over where portobellos seem to have a much longer shelf life, quite honestly, than creminis.
Interesting.
If you, just like anything, like you see folks in the trenches, I call it, the produce stand, where they're constantly culling cabbage or anything, or lettuces. It might be whittled down to nothing, but you can still.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing with portobellos. There's some danger spots, like the tip of the stem.
Yep.
If you're a smart produce guy, you'll see him pull his knife and he'll just tip the stem and put it back on the shelf. And culling is a constant process in all steps of produce.
Right.
From the farm to the grocery store, from the grocery store to, there's the culling in your kitchen or in the back of the restaurant, where just, there's a constant, everything's perishable. Entropy is something that none of us can quite escape from. So yeah, this is 8 grow rooms. I was just telling Glenn, there's 8 grow rooms because the life of a grow room is about 8 weeks. So the theory is, if you're going to be growing mushrooms year round, you need 8 grow rooms, because the life of, you load a room every week, and once that next cycle's up, then you're loading another room every week. We do some juggling matches and we try to have some downtime with some rooms, and we're able to do that by having extra harvests and milking other rooms longer. So
Yeah.
it's just a little bit of a juggle. So just so you know, our mushroom compost
Yeah.
is, straw based, horse stall based, but there's also a lot of dry chicken and alfalfa meal in there. But I think the real magic of it is after the mushroom compost has been inoculated for 2 weeks, we case it with several inches, a bed, just like you saw those beds,
Right.
with pure peat moss. Actually, not pure peat moss. Peat moss is too acidic, so we mix it with a cement mixer, gypsum. So it's pH 7. Has to be pH 7.
What role has that played? That's had mushrooms growing in it for how many? What do you call them? Blooms? What do you call them?
4 or 5 flushes.
Flushes.
Yeah, not a bloom. We call it a flush or harvest.
Okay.
Flush is kind of an industry term.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Cut! What? Take 5? 3,
Okay.
2, 1. What? So it gets reinvigorated out here after growing the mushrooms. Honestly, everybody and their grandmother comes and gets it before we get to really turn it or really manage it. When a room gets dumped, it's like vultures.
Hood River farmer vultures.
Right, and we don't do a lick of advertising. And everybody and their grandmother comes elbowing for it. It's really probably a good idea to let us dump a room and turn it for a week or two before you come get it. Or you just come get it and you turn it in your garden or whatever. Either way, it's never going to burn. It's fantastic stuff. We have a saying around here: you stick a number 2 pencil in here and it'll grow a tree.
A lead tree.
Let's hope not, right? I think that's graphite, actually.
A graphite tree. Awesome.
So you want a tour of our little jardin?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So raspberries, strawberries, not really performing. Well, the raspberries are new, but we have used a lot of this garden is kind of perennial stuff. We have chives and thyme and sage, a lot of stuff. Running a CSA, it's nice to have some things in a pinch that are just really hardy and dependable and year-roundish. We do a lot of starting up here. You'll see we have a lot of starts that are going to go down to Alameda here in the greenhouse.
I've got a whole bunch of raspberry plants I can dig if you want more.
Yeah, I'd love some.
They're like yay high.
Oh wow, we'd love to add them to this.
They're coming out today. Do you want me to just keep them in a bucket for you?
Sure. So these are all the starts that are going down to Alameda, and there's some
Ours is going to grow the weed.
Well, I'm growing my 4. Aren't you growing your 4?
Level.
Got some Rhode Islands, got some this, that, and the other.
Once they discover how delicious raspberry leaves are.
Well, wait till the raspberries come out, then you got to get their butts out of here.
They won't.
Ours are flying up and like pecking a berry out of the sky.
Production to consumer and sort of facilitate being
Ladies, what are you doing? You're used to getting fed, huh?
But just like
You're used to
somewhere
getting
in
fed.
between the person that's buying it and the person that's creating it. Like, to be honest on this system.
We started off planting probably about 3,500 cherry tomatoes, different varieties, pears, and we've been putting them out and putting them underneath that what we call la malla, screen net fencing stuff. Maya is a better word. But anyway, we lost about 2,000 of them of the tomato starts. Even with this Maya. This stuff, which is pretty good, I guess, but
One gets under there.
yeah, and they're not very big, and they're not a whole meal. So yeah, they'll go through thousands of them very quickly. This is basil under here, and they're not really even interested in basil, which is good. But still, at this size, anything can be like eat the whole thing. And it's like, oh, I'm not really interested in that. But
That
the whole
sucked.
thing's gone. Right.
Are they the spotted ground squirrels? Because I've trapped 5 this week.
What do you do with them after you trap them?
I take them down to Springhouse Cellars.
You just let them loose?
Yeah, there's no houses or gardens.
You're
It's
lucky
just
there
like
wasn't
there's a
one in the
river.
trap when we were on our way down here.
We were gonna bring
I
you
thought I saw a
one.
bunch of them running across the
We're gonna
bridge
bring
back
you
up the
one.
High
We're
Line.
gonna bring you a
Wherever we happen
trade.
to be going is where the squirrels go.
Right.
Sometimes I take them to Costco in Portland. wherever I'm going.
Yeah, my guys take them home. I don't know what they do with them.
A lot of people take them up to our house.
It's not your concern. That's what we said. We brought them to White Salmon, and some White Salmon people go, "Oh, we always bring ours to Hood River."
Come on, stop. This is it, and it's sort of commercial.
Stinky.
It stinks. My girlfriend, it's like, you've been around that
Fertilizer.
It stinks bad, and it's hard to get rid of the stink. But it works.
We love stuff like that at the house. That's
Right,
awesome.
and it's got a like, oh, I know that smell.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a very distinct smell.
right. It's chicken and fish. So it's basically, and they've got some voodoo what they're doing. They say they sterilize it mechanically, Glenn, where it's spun so fast in the centrifuge, it whacks up against these stainless steel sort of centrifuge where the chicken shit is actually sterilized.
Sterilizes something?
That's what they're telling me.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. But before they whack it against this giant centrifuge thing, they soak it in fish emulsion. So it's really stinky stuff. So it's 444FA, and it's also been inoculated with 3 different kinds of mycorrhizal spore inoculants. And so when you don't mix it in, and if it rains or you get it wet, you will see it you'll see white, just like you see in growing mushrooms. You'll see it fuzz out. So it's really, and if it gets hit by the sun, you're going to kill all of that stuff. So you really do need to incorporate it. That's why I call it activator and really get it mixed in.
Okay.
This bag is actually specially made low pH, so it's great for blueberries and even raspberries and strawberries. The big bags are high calcium, so you can actually talk to these guys and ask for other micronutrient needs. These guys are fantastic. If your fruit is lacking calcium, you're going to not keep as well, so you have less time and more stress selling your product. Anyway, this bagged stuff is for the orchards. That's why I have tons, and this stuff is for more gardens and the blueberries and stuff like that.
Nice.
Do you want the heavy calcium, or do you want the more acidity?
So most of my garden is like produce. Well, I can't say that. I'm half and half.
Right.
Like half blueberries, apples,
You
berries.
probably want one of these.
Okay.
And so these are $20, but I was going to give you. I was going to
I'll
give
take
you one of these
whatever you
buckets.
want to give me.
I'm going to give you one of these buckets.
Okay.
I had a pallet this high of these, and these are going fast.
And these
You
are
won't want to sell you one of these, but I got a ton of this stuff, and this is high calcium.
Let's go for the
Okay.
calcium.
Okay, good.
perfect. Thanks,
I'm just
Dan.
going to give you a bucket so you can.
I'll give it back in my CSA box. Is that good?
Yeah, this stuff stinks equally as bad. No, but it's got the mycorrhizal, calcium, it's chicken shit, fish, azomite. Some of it might be snake oil, but it really, really, really works. Like iron sulfate.
Grassy ass. So
Available.
Should I just like sprinkle some on top, scoop to load my wheelbarrows, and then sprinkle some more, and then keep loading wheelbarrows, and that'll kind of mix it all up?
We all have our different techniques, sure.
What do you do?
I like to make the
Pile.
pile, pour it on the pile, and then go around the edges and kind of keep going, and the pile falls, and the pile falls.
Yeah.
Water it and wait a couple days optimally.
But no, I mean, I think,
Anything?
Like I said, you're going to activate the mycorrhizae once this is watered, but this has got enough moisture in it too where it's going to activate a lot of mycorrhizae too. I think there's an apple. You hungry? You got an apple right there.
Yum.
The worms can only eat, and the chickens can only eat so much, so sometimes there's
Compost happens.
Yes. So we share it we have 3 different outlets of our perishable waste.
Good.